E aí, rapaziada do Brasa, finalmente estou aqui com esses dois monstros do rock, John Corabi e Marco Mendoza.
Como vai? Tudo bem?
Hello.
Hoje a gente vai estar falando sobre várias coisas, sobre o novo CD, Burn It Down, a turnê que começou pela Inglaterra e vai rodando por aí afora. Mas então, fiquem ligados. How you guys doing?
We're good. I have no idea what you just
Really
said,
good.
but it sounded really good.
But he knows what I'm talking
We started
about.
in the UK. We have
I'd like to thank you guys for being on our show, Jorgen, to get this whole show going.
Obrigado, Jorgen. Muito obrigado.
Yeah, what they said.
Because there's a lot of people in Brazil, they know the history about the band, but not the whole thing, you know. And I'd like to know, how long have you guys been on the roads and how the whole thing started?
Wow, we've been on the road. I think we're going to be celebrating 5 years, or we are celebrating 5 years right now, since I got on. And I believe they did a couple of gigs before I got on. So that was back in 1935 before. But anyway.
Which is weird. He did 5 years and he was here first, but I've been here 9 years, so figure that one out. Okay.
Crazy. I was real fast. I was touring in Australia with Thin Lizzy, Motley Crue, Kiss package, and we were having a blast. The opening band was our founder, David Lowe, with his band. That was a connection. So before you know it, we hit it off. They really had some great songs. I used to go listen to them. And Demolition Divas or something. Diva Demolition. So we hit it off. We started talking. I had no idea, you know, I just talking musician to musician. And then he introduced me to his manager, David Edwards. Before the tour was over, David Edwards came over and says, hey, you know, we're doing something here. We have a new album that we did in the studio with studio musicians. The singer's John Stevens, but we don't have a band. And we want to start playing it. Would you be interested? I said, I'm always looking for cool things to do, so send me the music. They send me the music, and right off the bat, I love what I heard, to be honest. It was like 2 songs, 3 songs. It was like, this is some cool stuff. So I called back. I said, yeah, what's going on? I said, well, we need to get some names to build this band so we can open up for Aerosmith. And I went, bing, Aerosmith, okay. So I moved my schedule around and we went down to Australia, opened up. Richard Portis was there, Dizzy Reed, some of my friends. So the band was kicking. John Stevens was singing. And we did the shows. We did 7 shows with Aerosmith. 4 shows in, we're all looking at each other going, this could be something really cool. And management was agreeing. So they're like, would you guys be interested in continuing this thing if we could book some things? And everybody said, yeah, we have prior commitments, but you know, we can work around that. Long story short, the Uproar Festival came out there with the Alice in Chains and Jane's Addiction, and it was like, boom, all of a sudden we're in the US touring. And the rest is history. I mean, there's some lineup changes. John Stevens couldn't leave the country. There was some personal stuff going on. And we had a tour lined up with Kiss. We had the trip to Cuba lined up. We had the studio booked, and so we needed to continue to move forward. And I gave John a call, and he came out to Cuba, and he hit it out of the park. He had everything we were looking for, and he's beautiful. He's got a good heart. He's funny as hell, talented as hell. He's a great songwriter, and he's my personal bitch. But no, oh. It is. No.
Everything's allowed here, guys.
I know, it's a family show, but I'm only kidding. But no, John has been on my radar for the longest time. I met him back in the early 90s, and he's just been one of those cats that's out there doing it for the right reason. He loves what he does with a passion. He is music, that's who he is. And he just felt like a glove, man. He came in, we were in the studio, he hit it out of the park. It was exactly what we were all looking for. So the rest is history. You can take it from there. That was that was Revolution 3 years ago.
Yeah. We did Revolution, and then we went on tour with Kiss that year. We did the Kiss cruise. We did some shows with Whitesnake in America, and then we came over here. We did, God, I think almost 2 months with Whitesnake
Whitesnake.
over here in Europe, and we had a great time. And then, fortunately for them, unfortunately for us, Guns N' Roses called Dizzy and Richard and asked them to be part of this tour that they're on now, the Not in This Lifetime tour. We called Doug Aldridge up, and instead of just going on with Doug on the last record, we said, you know what, let's go back into the studio and start a brand new record and do it with Doug. So we went in, we did Make Some Noise, and immediately went right back out on the road again and started touring. And then there was the live record, and now this year, Burn It Down. So it's been
a hell of an album.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, to bring you up to date, because you're going to ask, or people are asking, Brian, along the way, had a lot of prior commitments that unfortunately was not clicking with our schedule, and we've all given this project 150%, priority number one. We're all doing side things, but Brian found himself in a little bit of a jam where he committed to other things and he couldn't get out of it. So we miss him a lot. He's part of the family. He's always going to be part of, like Richard and Dizzy. But you know, we got lucky, man. We called Dean, the Machine, Casanova, and he came in with a bunch of energy, fire, and life, and passion, and talent. He's a funny cat too, so we're laughing, man.
And he's just really positive all the time.
Yeah.
So it's cool having him around. You know what I mean? And it's weird. You know, I never understood this when I joined Motley. Tommy and Nikki always used to say that there was something when I came, like everything for me was kind of a first. You know, I took my first trip, like, you know, in a helicopter, and just some of the different things that they had kind of taken for granted.
They've been doing it.
They have been doing it for years, and they just kind of got used to it. So when I came in, it was like, oh, we're playing this. Oh yeah, we're playing in Vienna. Oh yeah, we're playing here. We're going to South America. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was very excited about everything, and I never understood. Like they were like, oh man, it's so great, dude. Like we're excited because you're excited.
We're excited for your excitement. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of the same now with Dean. You know, like Marco and I and David and Doug, we've been doing this now for 2 or 3 years, 4 years. You know, so we're just kind of like, oh yeah, we're gonna go on tour, and they're like, but Dean's just like, yeah, that's, you know, he's really excited about everything. So it kind of gets us excited again. You know what I mean? It's very cool.
It's a cool thing. It's a great bunch of cats. The most important thing is that, I mean, obviously, without sounding pretentious, there's a lot of talent, a lot of experience from all the projects and the years that we've been out there, learning how to do things, how not to do things. You know, checking our egos. God, that's a big one. And then, but we laugh. We enjoy every day. We're laughing, man. Cracking up.
It's just like a hell of fun every night.
Yeah.
Backstage, on stage.
On stage, the artists pick up on it.
Yeah, and it's weird. I just did another interview downstairs, and you know, that's the thing. Like obviously, like any band, we want to be, you know, kick ass. We want to walk into a venue and, you know, not destroy it per se, but like just go in and just destroy the audience.
Leave a mark. Yeah.
But we kind of do it in a different manner. You know what I mean? Like we want all the music to be tight and loud and just, you know, really aggressive. But we don't take ourselves so serious that it becomes like this cookie cutter thing. You know what I mean? Like we kid around. Like Marco, if you remember, had
I saw last time. We came behind with this pink stuff, like
yeah, and then you know, like so we kid around with each other on stage, and then when Doug's doing a solo, I'll go back and I'm talking to Dean and I'm making faces at him and we're talking to each other and David, and you know, there's this thing where we're just having fun. Yeah. You know, last night I couldn't. You know, then Doug, he took a feather and he put it on his head, and he was like, what, you know, what, like, and he had this giant pink feather on his, you know, and it was just, I was laughing hysterically, you know, so we're just having fun. We know too, we like Marco said, we've been doing this so long that we know it's not usual for a band or musicians to be in the business for 30, 35, 40 years, you know what I mean? And we've been doing this long. You know, so we don't take it for granted. We're enjoying the fact that we're still here. I'm enjoying the fact that I hooked up with these guys and I'm watching this rapid growth in the band, and it's getting bigger and better and every time. So we know how difficult it is, so we're just enjoying it ourselves. So we're having fun on stage, but I think it's translating to the audience, and they see that we're having fun. You know what I mean? So it's very fun.
I've never worked this hard ever in my life, because a lot of credit to management and our founder, David Lowy, because their work ethic is, they're very focused, you know, and I think it's translating also in part of the success right now is because we're working so hard. At 3 months.
3 years.
But it's amazing. And
yeah, well, the first record, if you think about it, we did Revolucion.
Yeah.
We started it March 10th. Yeah. We finished April 10th. Okay.
Like 1 month.
1 month.
5 weeks. Yeah.
We started. Yeah. Start writing, recording, mix, master. Boom, boom, boom. 1 month. Then we went on tour, and we found out on tour that Richard and Dizzy were leaving. So we got Doug, and we basically made phone calls in November, December. So we got Doug. January, we were right back in the studio, and we had another record done in February.
Yeah.
So technically, from March 10th till March, we did 2 records and toured, and then went right back on tour.
And then back on tour and recorded live.
Guys,
I mean, it's like,
where does the energy come from?
but
Because
when you love what you do, bro, you develop a fan base and you keep feeding them, you know, this, now check this out, now check this out, check this out. And then social media and the journalists like you guys, thank you so much for keeping us relevant out there and connected to the fans. It's a big part of what we do. It's the reality. So
the management has kind of figured out, like, all right, there's no radio anymore.
Right.
And there's no MTV. It doesn't exist for musicians. You know what I mean? So what is your option? So you do records, you go tour, but you use YouTube and Facebook Live and Instagram. So, but they're very smart. They go, you know what? We're going to bring all these fans or friends or family, however we want to call them. We want to bring them into our world. So that's the other part of the journey. They're part of this whole process.
Part of the journey.
They see what we're doing every day. Every day.
it's true.
You know, so I think for the fans, it makes it, like when I say it on stage, I really mean it. Like I go, you know, we don't want to use the term fans.
You said it last time.
Yeah, you're like part of the family now. We're friends. We're all friends because they see. You know, it's funny, so we just did a Facebook Live a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
And the questions that they're asking us, it's crazy. Like, someone's like, oh, John, you were sick. How are you feeling? Are you feeling better now?
Real person.
And it's just like, you know, I was just sick like a week ago. I had bronchitis really bad. So
they asked me Maybelline or Chanel, and I said, of course Chanel.
Of course.
For lipstick.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Fade black. and cut. Last couple days, all these fans are coming. My birthday was April 26th. So all the fans, I'm like signing, here you go, thank you. And they're like, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of cool.
It makes you feel like, hey.
Yeah, they're all like cousins or it's just really good friends. You know, they brought me these 2 girls brought me this.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, they, you know, and it's just like happy birthday. They brought me chocolates, but now they're asking like, are you feeling better? So they are kind of part of the family.
I know Marco since what, last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. And besides being press, I'm also a huge fan. I mean, I learned about you guys three months before Rock Vienna last year. I came to check, and then I get in contact with Jorgen. Jorgen sent me the
Schedule?
no, the press,
Oh.
the album released
Yeah,
the
yeah.
press, and I kept listening. And then was every single day, 3-4 hours. It became like a drug, or not a drug. Became, you know, like so addictive. And I was like, oh my gosh, this band is.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by the Betty Ford Clinic. Okay, continue.
Just say no.
Just say no, kids. Just say no.
Kids ain't good for you.
It's never stopped, man. I honestly, we've all been very lucky. We've been doing this forever. It's just the industry, the perception that it's gone because you don't have the big money, the big corporate thing, you know, stuffing it in your face like they used to. It's always been there, bro. Classic rock has been, my career has been based on that, nonstop. So I understand your opinion.
Yeah, but it is funny, like again, I was saying earlier, you know, there is no radio, there is no MTV. So if you go to, you know, the Download Festival, or you go to Swedish Rock Festival, you go to that festival in Poland, Woodstock,
Yeah.
Peace Festival, you know, there's a couple 100,000 people there. The one in Woodstock, it's like almost 1 million or
Yes.
some shit
Yeah,
over
yeah,
a
yeah.
weekend. It's crazy.
Stupid.
So the fans are still there. And, you know, even Gene Simmons a few years ago, he said, oh, rock's dead, you know. I don't think it's dead. I think that it's the avenue of, you know, here's a band, they've got a new record out. I think what's changed is the method of letting the fans
The
know
delivery,
that you have a record out, that you're on tour. You know, the method of bands, you know, years ago they would go on tour to let people know they had a new record out. Now they do a record to let them know they're going on tour.
Mhm.
It's a little reverse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not making millions of dollars
Like
on the you know, like back before on the records, but you know, they're making better on merch and you know, so it all works out. The fans have always been there. You know, the person that liked Led Zeppelin 30 years ago still loves Led Zeppelin. Same with Aerosmith or Kiss or David Bowie or Whitesnake or Motley Crue, or, you know, they're still there. Or even with us, like the Dead Daisies, I'll talk to somebody that's not real familiar with the Dead Daisies, and I go, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's kind of a, you know, for lack of a better term, it's like an all-star band. You know, we've got Marco Mendoza from blah, 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 and Doug Aldridge from blah, blah, blah. And I tell them who's in the band, and they're like, oh shit, like, I love those guys.
Right.
But they don't
Big
know
stars
yet.
in there.
So it's like, it's just, the fans are still there, the music is still there, it's just the method of letting them know that we're still here is different.
Yeah, which is why the social media thing is so important. Again, coming back to that. Absolutely.
Or I say you just go out and kill somebody and get the press, you know what I mean? Forget about it over there. Stay in school or do something illegal. That's what I say. It's the theme.
Just say no.
Kids, don't
And
listen to
see.
about the name of the band, if you guys can tell us.
David
you know.
Lowy, I was talking to you about that album that they had recorded with studio musicians and John Fields produced. Great, brilliant album to this day. That's what got me sparked, interested in the project. Him and the singer John Stevens were writing in the process. We're doing all that, and John, let's just say that John lived life to the fullest. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he ended up at the emergency hospital with a big old heart attack, and the doctor said, you know, you better stop your lifestyle here. You better really keep it in check because you're going to be pushing daisies from 6 feet under. So it sparked an idea. Him and David talked about it, and they put it together, and the Dead Daisies with the skull. And that's where it came from. It's a trip, huh?
It makes sense. The whole logo now, it makes more sense to me that, you know, the days, of course, with the flowers and one thing.
So when the logo was sent to me with a couple of songs, I mean, I just immediately said to David Edwards, like, That's brilliant, man. That's really cool. It sparks interest, and your reaction is instant. Daisies, Dead Daisies. The soul, and the logo has kind of progressed a little bit now, but it was very cool, man. So that's where it came from.
Or for the Spanish, the dead margaritas. I read.
Margaritas muertas.
Thank you. What did he say?
En portugués,
Margaritas
mortas.
mortas.
Mortas. Margaritas mortas. Para la familia de Brasil.
Yeah.
I was having Dean on board, and I was making the album with him because, as you said, John, he came with this 3,000, energy stuff, like afraid.
You know, obviously it's well documented that Dean had some issues a couple years ago.
Unfortunately,
And he'll be the first to tell you that he didn't think he was going to be working much. Marco and Doug have both been very supportive of Dean's sobriety and getting his life together. And the one thing, like, he came to New York when we were writing. He was very upfront, open about everything, and he's just very happy to be here. And the other thing too is he's like, man, I want to rock. Like, I want to rock again. And he's definitely bringing it. He can play. He knows what he's doing on the drums. He's an amazing vocalist, so he helps out immensely with the backing vocals. When I walk off stage every night, at some point, I know, and they all do it. They're like Marco, Doug, David. They all come over to me and they go, "You kicked ass tonight," because they know, especially being sick, they knew how hard it was for me. But Dean as well. He comes over and he hugs me. He's like, "God, brother, it was insane. You were amazing." So there's it's just a really cool, positive energy.
Bunch of brothers.
Yeah, a bunch of brothers. We're just having fun.
Secondary family,
Do you guys think that Dean changed the sound of the band a bit? I mean, if you compare it to Brian, or it sounds the same?
No, I don't think any one person changes the sound. Because it's such a collaborative effort when we write. We're all in the studio together while we're writing. Again, I did an interview earlier, and the guy asked me if any of our writing process is done via MP3s and all this. Absolutely not.
You all sit down together.
We're all in a room together.
Awesome.
We're all playing acoustic guitars. We're all building a map or a foundation for the songs, and we get 10, 15, 20 of these foundations. Marty is usually right there with us, and he's putting his input and he's helping us formulate the songs. And then we sit down as a group together and we go, all right, what do we feel are the best 12 or 14? These, okay? Oh, great. And then we all go into the studio together, and we can all see each other. Dean's playing, he's playing guitars, and everybody is feeding off of each other the whole time. And
For instance, where most of the time it's two cats doing the writing. Sometimes it's one cat.
So the rest is just feeding from.
Yeah, because you have 5 pistons in the engine, not 2. If that makes any sense.
I got you.
You have a wider sense of, the spectrum is wider, that's all. And the common denominator is just get the best job done. Let's get the best song out there, the best sound, best performance, and then we're cool,
These are my favorite tracks: Judgment Day, Rise Up, and Resurrected. And I'd like to ask you guys a little bit about the song, because Judgment Day sounds to me like a reflection that some people have before they die, and they say, hey, I've been doing this, and
I'm a lot of time.
and then I have to be good, I have to be so.
Yeah.
If you guys could tell me a bit about it.
I don't think really death has got anything to do with it. At the end of the day, you know, you're gonna answer to whatever you believe in. You know, at the end of the day, I think the song is just about not judging people, treating people with respect, treating people the way that you would want to be treated. And if you don't, at some point, I don't know what, like, even if you don't believe in God or heaven or whatever, at some point, something will come back which is equivalent to a judgment day. Whether it's bad karma, whatever,
Payback.
there will be a payback. You will have to answer for the way you treated it. If you treated somebody like shit before, or a lot of people, it will come back and come to you.
Reincarnation, if you believe in it. You'll end up coming back as a flower.
We do here, receive there.
Or you'll come back as a big old pile of poop.
Guys, another one here, Rise Up. First time I listened to the song, I didn't pay much attention to the lyrics. But then the second, the third time, I was like, to me has, how can I say, a kind of soft political, environmental.
It's not soft at all. It is, it's very direct.
To be honest, we all fall into that category where we are followers. We believe what's being told to us politically, socially, not
Religiously, everything.
We just follow and we believe what we're supposed to do. That song, and I love that song, it's like, take the time to be who you are, believe what you believe. Find, now through the internet, the interweb, folks, you can go out there and find all the information you get and come to your
You know, at the end of the day, it's not just, you know, it's not just my country, all countries. They have somebody that's running the ship, somebody that was put there by the people like us.
Sometimes.
They, you know.
The voters, let's say.
Yeah.
Let's call it that.
Sometimes. But at the end of the day, they're all accountable. And that's all I'm saying is, if you can't change anything if you just sit there on the couch and complain about
Right.
it.
Exactly.
So,
Money.
like Marco said yesterday, if you don't like it, go vote. If you don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's, everything is in our control. Rise up and take control of your shit, you know?
Tiny bit, because I know times like,
Go, Joe.
Resurrected, in the grand scheme of things, I used myself and Dean as an example for this song. Like, when I was in Motley, everybody wanted me to come to the party. When I lost the Motley gig, it was like, sweep him under the rug, he's done. And the same with Dean. Like, Dean went through a little period where he was struggling with things, and you know what? At the end of the day, it's just kind of, it's about second chances. It's about, you know, like, I've always been here, you know, now the Daisies is kind of like putting me back. Not that I ever went anywhere, it's just kind of giving me a little more attention, you know what I mean? So it's just, you know, it's, I kind of feel resurrected, you know what I mean?
the tours, anything happening in South America or not yet?
DeadDaisies.com. Go there for tour dates. We are definitely coming to South
We
America.
are, we just haven't finalized.
Nossa. Para finalizar aqui, é o seguinte, Dead Daisies estará na América do Sul, no Brasil, rodando, então fiquem ligados. Valeu? Dead Daisies.
John, thank you.
Marco.
Thank you, brother. Muito
Thank you.
obrigado.
Thank you.
Saudade, Brasil, saudade. Beijo, beijo.
What he said.